Alright, so this is part 2 of the XJ Cherokee and little projects we're working on. Like I said, I replaced the suspension. If you watched the first video, it's got the rough country kit. Took off some spacers, cleaned up some little stuff. But today we're going to do the throttle position sensor. And before we get started, the tools you'll need on this is T25, a little ratchet, and of course your new TPS. One of the reasons I am doing this is because when I'm driving, I started to get hesitation under acceleration. Not really a starting problem, started right up, but you could kind of hear it misfire. And I've already done the basic part of a tune-up. I did plugs, wires, cap, rotor, and then ignition coil. So to me, this was the next step, and then it's progressively gotten worse. Like I said, since I put the suspension on, it's very drivable. It drives pretty good. So I've been trying to drive it more to work out the bugs and figure out everything else that's wrong with it. So that's one thing I have noticed has gotten worse, is what I believe to be the TPS. So sputters under acceleration, has a slight misfire, and then it backfires through the intake. And the backfire through the intake thing is kind of why I'm leaning towards TPS. It's not throwing any codes, so I can't pull any codes. So I'm really thinking that this is the issue. So this is going to be the part that I swap out. As I said, the only tools you need is a small ratchet and a T25, and then the part to replace what you need. So to get started, the TPS is actually on the back of the throttle body towards the firewall. It's only held in by 2 little screws. Like I said, they're T25, and all you got to do is remove the plug, remove the 2 screws, pull the old one out, and then replace. Before you get started on this, I removed both terminals off the battery to let them drain everything out, and then we'll go ahead and we'll swap this out. We'll start off by removing the bolts. I'll show you the old one, and then we will put the new one in. We'll touch the battery terminals together, drain everything in the system out, and then we'll start it up and see if our issue is fixed. Alright, so quick correction on this Jeep. My last Cherokee was T25 for the TPS bolts, and my Grand Cherokee was T25. Apparently on this one it's T20. So it's either going to be T20 or T25. So that's just a minor correction in what we're doing right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. I already unplugged the sensor. You can work around without unplugging anything else if that's what you choose to. But you can also unplug certain things like the vacuum booster and whatever else you want to make it easier on you. So, old one is removed. Not sure what brand it is. Can't even see a brand on it. But it's pretty crudded up in there. There was no gasket on it either, which is kind of odd. The design's a little different from the new one. This one comes with a little blue gasket you just place in here. But we're gonna go ahead and swap this out. Important thing is you need to make sure you put your bolts where you're not gonna lose them, because you do have to reuse them. Alright, so new TPS is installed. Everything's plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the battery, and then I'll start it, take it for a spin, and then I'll report back with how it works. So after replacing the TPS, it does idle a lot better. It does accelerate a lot better, but there still is like occasional like sputter and then a slight backfire. So from there, we're gonna move on to the O2 sensor, because I believe the TPS took care of part of it, but I think the O2's next. So we're gonna check the wiring first, and then we'll go from there. But TPS took care of like majority of the problems. Idle's a lot smoother. And it was easy to change. It was 60 bucks, 5 minutes to change. So easy to do. So hope this video helps somebody. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and drop them below. If you had this issue before, let me know.